Good evening, everybody. Matrix here, and here's my watch list for August 6th. Okay, I guess let's get right into it. I mean, still lots of plays. Fantastic day at the market today. A very easy day as I planned it last night as well. With the Chinese currency, the yuan, coming down and underneath the $7 level. Trump calls it currency manipulation. It's basically what we saw today is basically China showing Trump and US what they can do to retaliate in if they keep slapping on the tariffs and everything. Um, Now the yuan has rebound a little bit right now, and stabilized right now in the Asian markets, but it doesn't mean that it can't go lower. What we saw today is personally, I think it's kind of like a prequel to what might happen if Trump doesn't lift up a bit on the pressure on these tariffs. So, with that said, here we have the fear and greed index here. We close at major fear, and the SPY actually, the SPY kind of kept dumping after hours. Now with the futures right now, we are gapping up a little bit. So let's bring in the SPY right now, up 11, up 11 points right now on the SPY futures. So that would make it, let's see, zoom in a little bit here. As you can see, I already have these levels pre-marked. We close at 283.80, up $1.10, so 284.80 now. So this is where we're at right now, right around the 284.80 mark, the blue line. This resistance area was yesterday's, the support that I marked off from October 10th, where we had that major dump. Once we snapped it, it never came back up. Also, this was the previous day's closing price. It's now major resistance as well, so I turned it into red color. Looking at this right now, I'm thinking where is the next major support now? It does look like at the end of the day we did come back up a little bit, and because of futures we are gapping up a little bit. However, my thesis is still a little bit of pop and drop until it reaches around this 280 level or the 200 SMA. I don't think the SPY is ready to rebound yet. As you can see, after this day on October, it dropped twice, right? It hit this 270 before it came back up. So I do think it actually does have some room to come down. This 280 being very key, as you can see across here horizontally, key psychological whole number as well. Definitely looking for it to test. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart real quick. So actually, let's bring it down to the 5-minute time frame, and you'll see that after hours when we closed, right, it kept selling off, and it neared the 280. So definitely looking for it to test the 280 first before we perhaps bounce back, may or may not bounce back. I am looking for a pop and drop. Like right now, we are sitting right around this area, the VWAP area from today. Okay, so right now we're sitting at around this area, right? So really depending on pre-market tomorrow, we're coming into a key level of 285. I still like the short play to begin with, and then if I miss that short, then I'll wait for capitulation around the 280 and look for the bounce play. With that said, let's go into the watch list. There's two main tickers that I'll be watching. First of all, I want to talk about TTWO. They had very positive earnings reaction after hours, okay, a major gap up. And I do like it for continuation long tomorrow. Looking at this right now, I mean, we see some key levels here at the 124-ish area, 123.75. On the 30-minute chart, immediate resistance after hours, we have 124, and then also the 125 after, right? I'm looking for a dip and rip we had this massive drop today. Basically, Trump was talking on news, talking to the media about the mass shootings, and he was blaming uh, video games for the results of these mass shootings. So basically, all the video game sector and all the game stocks tanked. But however, I mean, Take-Two uh, had a positive earnings catalyst, and it just doesn't make sense for this for first of all the gaming sector to keep tanking. It doesn't make sense, right? Everybody knows that blaming video games for gun violence is just stupid. Uh, and with the positive earnings catalyst as well, I think Take-Two, out of all the video games stocks there, I do think this is going to perform the best tomorrow as it rebounds from this drop from Trump tweeting that, we blame video games for gun violence, right? I don't think people actually do buy this shit. So like Trump's excuse of gun violence, and I think the dust will settle real quick, and then this positive earnings reaction is going to kick in and go for the long. Looking for a dip and rip, right? So if I'm looking for a dip, I'm looking at 122 first, and then 121, and then coming down to the 120. But I do like this 121 though. Actually, I do like this 122 first. I mean, 122 on the daily chart is very key. As you can see, it's previous day's highs right here around the 122. Okay, the stock overall this year has been very strong, and it's about to breach the 125, make 52-week highs. From there, we have very key resistance, the next $5 level, right? So if I draw a horizontal line like this, you got very key ranges: 125, 120, 130, right? So if it dips and holds this 122, long it. If it gaps up and holds 124, long it. That's what I'm planning. 123 as well. Every whole dollar I'm looking at on this ticker, with the average true range of $3.36, very high relative volume, and looking for this sell-off dust to settle from this morning. I believe it has already. Some people shorted this shit, right? And with the earnings reaction, people are forced to cover as well. And if they haven't covered yet, tomorrow they're going to be shitting their pants and they will be covering. So I do like this on the long side. It's not, I don't think the SPY pulling down will affect this too much. Next ticker, I am looking at TSN. Basically, they had earnings reaction, positive earnings reaction today, this morning, and it ran huge in the morning, hit a backside, started taking profits, and started fading. Excuse me. What I'm seeing here, this is a technical breakout on the daily chart, right? So this is a technical breakout of 82.50 and 83 right here. So very easily to spot 83.25 area to be exact, right? Very easily spotted. As you can see, 83 held a couple dips today, held the dip this morning after the initial run. Okay, it popped here, held this dip, reclaim and ran, and now it's faded all the way back to around 83 levels. So what I'm watching for, let's go back to the 5-minute chart here. What I'm watching for tomorrow is a dip and a hold, right? So we see a hold here on 83. Put the arrow here, and we also see a test here on support at 83. So looking for 83 to hold, if not 82.50, which is the daily chart right here. This daily chart prior resistance now becomes support, and we have a positive earnings catalyst, a chart pattern breakout, and overall also all-time high breakout as well. So I do like this. I mean, initially this run was a little bit overextended, so it had to pull back a little bit, and we're coming back into support area. So looking for the long here on TSN. And that's my two main plays tomorrow. Let's take a look at some side watches. Disney is announcing tomorrow after hours. They're announcing earnings. Disney stock has always been strong, especially this year with the top 8 box office movies that they have is Disney's movies, right? We have clear, looking on the daily chart here, I mean, this is from the earnings, prior earnings right here, around the 135 area. So I do anticipate Disney to come down a little bit more tomorrow to test this 135 before a bounce. Now, where am I going to short it? I mean, we have key resistance right here at around the 139 area today. So right around the 139, I am looking for a pop and drop. Big stocks usually tend to sell off a little bit before earnings, right? And with the SPY still looking weak, the first move I'm looking for on Disney is a pop and drop down to, let's test this 137 first, and then maybe if the SPY pukes, it goes to 135. From there, it might or might not bounce. Because it is earnings, there will be buyers trying to buy this overnight as well. So I do like it for the bounce. Disney needs to hold this level of 135 from its prior earnings, right? It had fantastic earnings and it gained from there, so it can't really lose this 135 inflection point level tomorrow. I do like the buy on 135 if it reaches. So watching Disney. Facebook, a side watch, just watching a key level here, zooming in real quick. This 180 is a key watch. After hours, you see that Facebook has dumped under 180 on this 5-minute chart here. So looking at tomorrow and seeing how 180 reacts, if it holds 180 pre-market, long it. If it stays under 180, then short it. If 180 snaps, we have a long ways to go on the downside. It needs some follow through though. So I want to see it stay under 180 before I short. Okay, and confirm it. But if I scroll out a little bit, 180, you can see there's a key range here, and then there's a gap fill as well to 178. So some nice points there. As far as a long goes, if it reclaims 180 and hold, then you can long it. Facebook. NVDA, also a nice watch for tomorrow, looking at the 150 area. As you can see, after hours is sold a little bit under, so depending on what it does at the 150 tomorrow, over under, right? If it reclaims 150 and holds, it's a long. If it stays under 150, then it's a short, right? So very easy play, 150. If it is a short, the next target here we have is 147, which is right here. This bar's low from June 18th, the low at 147. That would be the short target. Okay, aside from 150 resistance, I do see 150, 125. So right here at the VWAP here, where it can't get past over. So a little bit over here. Yeah, where it can't get past over. So it might leak up a little bit on the pop and drop through this yesterday's closing price and then get stuffed. So watch out for that as well. And Netflix is interesting. It's testing its prior lows here. So depending on these lows, if it snaps and stays under, then we are going downhill for right here, the low of this bar, 301.65. Okay, so there is some downside to it. If it is a pop and drop, then look for 308 and 308.50 to reject. Very clear level right here. If it gaps down under, then watch the 305, right? So if it stays under 305, you gotta confirm that it stays under, then you can short it. Netflix, and then finally we have SQ. Massive dump today. I mean, I called it as a side watch yesterday. It's gonna be an interesting day, right? This 65 level, pretty key. So it is very overextended to the downside. So depending on what it does around the 65 area, don't want to jump to any conclusion yet. If it pops and drops, stays under the 65 to 65.10 area, then hammer it down for another day. where can it go, right? So what is the target? Next target, 64, 64 and beyond. Yeah, so that's basically my watch list this evening. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. I apologize for it coming out so late. It's 2:30 in the morning, and I'm yawning like crazy as well, so I gotta get some shut eye. I'll see you guys all bright and early tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Ciao.